Corvin Hase Lord Hayes, and this is Uncle Blovinius and the door that wasn't there. Elariel found Uncle Blovinius sitting in the garden at precisely the place where the garden became uncertain. Ooh. It was a peculiar spot. On one side there were roses. On the other side there were roses. But directly in front of Uncle Blovinius there was nothing at all. And yet he was sitting as though he were waiting for someone to open a door. He wore his opalescent jacket, which shifted gently between colors Elariel could not quite name, and beneath it was a shirt that appeared to be made of slowly moving clouds. In his hands was the mug, naturally, of course. Uncle Blovinius, what are you doing? Blovinius took a sip. I am waiting. For what? He looked at the empty space in front of him. For the door. Elariel looked at the empty space. There isn't a door. Yes. So what are you waiting for? The door. Elariel sighed. Uncle. Yes? There is no door. Blovinius nodded thoughtfully. That is generally the difficulty with doors that aren't there. Elariel sat beside him. For a while neither spoke. A small, luminous bird flew overhead, stopped in mid-air, reconsidered its destination, and continued in another direction. Elariel watched it disappear. Sometimes, she said, I think I'm waiting for something too. Blovinius's lopsided grin appeared. What? That what? The thing? What thing? The waiting. Elariel frowned. I don't understand. Excellent. Why is that excellent? Because understanding is terribly overrated when it arrives too early. He took another sip. Elariel looked again at the empty space. I keep thinking something is supposed to happen. Yes. That I'm supposed to find something. Yes. That I'm supposed to become something. Yes. Blovinius nodded. And perhaps, he said, you've been standing before an invisible door for so long that you had forgotten to look around and notice that you are already inside the room. Elariel stared at him. That doesn't make sense. Blovinius smiled. Not yet. A breeze moved through the garden. For a moment, the roses seemed to lean toward them. Elariel lowered her voice. Do you think I'm lost? Blovinius became very still. No. The answer was so immediate that she looked at him. You don't? No. How do you know? I don't. Then why did you say no? Because sometimes, Blovinius said, the truth is not a thing we know. Sometimes it is a thing we recognize. Elariel was quiet. Blovinius looked down at the mug. I once lost this. You lost the mug? I did. You? Yes. You're always holding it. Which made losing it particularly inconvenient. Elariel laughed. What happened? I searched everywhere. Where did you find it? Blovinius looked at her. In my hand. She stared. You're joking. Only slightly. He lifted the mug. It turns out I had been looking for the thing I was already carrying. Elariel smiled. That sounds like something you'd say about enlightenment. I would never be so presumptuous. You just did. No, I said it about a mug. A mystical mug. A mug with tea in it. He paused. Which is more important? Elariel laughed again. Blovinius looked toward the empty space. You see, Elariel, we've become very attached to the idea that the next thing will finally explain the thing before it. What if it doesn't? Then you have been given a marvelous opportunity. For what? To stop demanding that life explain itself before you agree to live with it. The garden became quiet. Elariel looked down at her hands. I've been afraid of making the wrong choice. Blovinius nodded. Of course. What if I choose badly? Then you will discover something. What? That you chose badly. She groaned. Uncle. What? It is useful information. I mean, something serious. So do I. He leaned back. The path of radiance is not a road upon which every stone is labeled correct, and every other stone is labeled incorrect. Then what is it? Blovinius smiled. A mirror. A mirror? Yes. What does it show? You. I already know what I look like. No. He waved his hand. That is merely your face. He pointed toward the empty space. The mirror shows what the face is carrying. Elariel became silent. Blovinius continued. Sometimes it shows fear, sometimes love, sometimes vanity, sometimes mercy, sometimes a very peculiar desire to eat an unreasonable amount of bread. Elariel laughed. That's not spiritual. Who told the bread? He looked offended on the bread's behalf. Bread has been involved in spirituality for centuries. That isn't what I meant. I know. Blovinius' expression softened. You are not required to become perfect before you may walk. He looked at her. You are required only to walk honestly. Elariel glanced toward the non-existent door. And if I don't know where to go, then go where you are. That sounds impossible. Most good directions do. He stood. Elariel watched him. Where are you going? To the open door. There still isn't a door. Yes. How are you going to open it? Blovinius walked directly toward the empty space. He stopped, raised a hand, knocked 3 times. Nothing happened. Elariel stared. Blovinius waited. Then he nodded solemnly. I suspected as much. What? It appears to be locked. But there's no door. Yes. And it's locked? Very securely. Elariel covered her face. Uncle Blovinius. Listen! She looked up. Blovinius stood there with one hand raised, the mug in the other. The doors you spend your life waiting for are sometimes only the shapes made by your expectation. He smiled. And sometimes there really is a door. He turned around. But you won't know which is which by staring at the wall. So what do I do? Blovinius walked back toward her. Live. That's it? That is quite a lot. He handed her the mug. Elariel blinked. You giving me your tea? No. Then why did you hand it to me? I didn't. She looked down. The mug was gone. She looked up. Blovinius was holding it, but he smiled. You see? Elariel stared at him. I don't know what just happened. Blovinius's lopsided grin widened. Excellent. And somewhere behind them, in a place where there had never been a door at all, something quietly opened. Just like that. Just like that. Most people get it mixed up.